John Boyega, I guess we don't like him anymore. Is that the new narrative we're supposed to go with? I'm Mecha Random 42, the one, the only, the original, your favorite YouTube consumer advocate, Harpy. John Boyega has been one of the sources of our information. He's been one of the leaks in public, very public, about some of the shenanigans and shadiness going on at Lucasfilm. He is one of our sources. But now, in an attempt to what? I don't know, save his own job, I am sure some members of the community are going to be furious with what he says about Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, he's simping for KK. He is now simping for KK. John Boyega is open to Star Wars return if Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams are involved. John Boyega has now done what looks like a 180, because this is the one person who has been calling out Star Wars. He's the one person who has been calling out what Disney has done to Star Wars. When the lines in the tribes are drawn to where you have to either completely disavow and blame Kathleen Kennedy for everything and have this idea of, hey, Star Wars will be fixed if we just retcon it, or you're kind of not paid attention to or shunned or mocked or whatever you are. Because, let's face it, I've kind of been under the impression that Kathleen Kennedy is not even doing her job and hasn't been for over a year. You have Momita Sengupta and Dave Filoni doing basically Kathleen Kennedy's job. But so why now is John Boyega saying he's open to returning only if KK and JJ are involved? What do we know about JJ? JJ has buggered off over to Warner, and they spent a lot of money on him over in Warner. We also know that JJ and John Boyega had this little, very public support of one another last year. Why Kathleen Kennedy, though? Why is he simping for KK? So, don't even bother watching their little clip. They have a whole interview with John Boyega where he doesn't say jack crap. So, John Boyega, we just watched this clip live. He doesn't say anything about anything other than, it's a trio, and he and Ray and Finn and Poe and blah. Yeah, who cares? Here's what I want to know. Why Kathleen Kennedy? Why are we simping for Kathleen Kennedy? It may not be out of the question, but for John Boyega to return to a galaxy far away, if the stars align. In a resurfaced clip from a 2020 interview with Jake's Takes, Boyega, who played the stormtrooper turned resistance fighter, oh, this is just what they say when they keep wanting to keep working in Hollywood, I should say. They just get asked these questions, and you never want to burn your bridges unless you're me and you're a little punk rock like that, and you never want to call out people. Boyega, who played stormtrooper turned resistance fighter Finn, affirmed that he would be opening to play in the Star Wars world again if Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams were involved. See, he also has said, you don't Disney Plus me. He also has called out Disney very publicly for reducing his character to nothing, basically, for removing his character from the Chinese posters. He's talked about that a couple of times. And from where I saw it, it just seems like, yeah, you're gonna stand up for your rights or for whatever, but if Disney's paying you, Disney's paying you. Whichever way, I am open to the conversation as long as it is. Kathleen, JJ, and maybe someone else, and the team. It's a no-brainer, he said. Anyway, here's where John Boyega says he's open, and now this is from Twitter.
That we help and we facilitate, so whichever way, I'm open to the conversation, as long as it's Kathy and JJ and maybe someone else, if it's the team, then, it's a no-brainer. Yeah.
Well, I want to hear what he was asked. I want to hear what the question was he was asked. Because he could also have been asked the question of, are you willing to forgive Disney for mistreating your character? Because I'm not hearing he's saying he's open. Let's listen to this again.
We help and we facilitate, so whichever way, I'm open to the conversation, as long as it's Kathy and JJ and maybe someone else, if it's the team, then, it's a no-brainer. Yeah.
What's he being asked, I wonder? Now, this is coming from Entertainment Weekly, so they're giving us half of the quote. What is the question, I wonder? So here's the actual question that Entertainment Weekly didn't want us to know, I guess.
You know, I think if you were to find a lot of old interviews with the original cast members back in the early 80s, whenever they finished that original trilogy, a lot of them would have expressed skepticism about coming back and doing a 7, 8, and 9, which obviously we ended up getting everybody, which was amazing. I know it's a big question to ask you now. Would you come back in 30 years? But at 30 years from now, let's just talk hypothetically. If someone's knocking on your door going, we want to see where Finn is 30 years later, we want to bring you back for episode 10. Is that something that you could imagine 30 years from now you would be interested in?
Definitely. I'll definitely, because, you know, I loved working on Star Wars. I really loved the experience.
So 30 years on, he's saying, yeah. I guess that's such a general question. Because like I said earlier, he did say, don't Disney Plus me. I don't want to come back for a Disney Plus series. But in 30 years, that's kind of a long way off.
And I always say, and people get surprised when I tweeted the other day saying there were some disappointments. But guys, it's kind of like, my generation of actors are not the same as the generation of actors that came before us who...
No shit. Sorry.
Painted the whole experience to always be perfect and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like the same way, you know, your job ain't perfect, shit, my one ain't. You know what I mean? So it's like just having that...
So this is more of the entitled... This reminds me of what Ray Fisher does. So this is him kind of coming off as very entitled. Very entitled of, yes, I'm complaining about my job.
Relationship in itself and being able to express that to the fans has been something to me that's been like a big major deal in being a part of this. And so coming back, I would be thinking about them. I'd be thinking about the fans. I'd be thinking about what they'd want to see.
See, now they're making it sound like he's simping for Kathleen Kennedy when here he's clearly stating that he would want to come back for you guys.
But this time, I'm sorry, I'd just be a bit more adamant about story.
When you read this is like a Kathleen Kennedy puff piece. Like, oh, only if Kathleen... No, because he's not really saying that. He's like, no, I need to have a conversation with these specific people about fixing my character for you guys, for the fans. So when you see this from Entertainment Weekly, it's like, oh, but Kathleen Kennedy and JJ are wonderful and we love them and the sun shines out their backsides. And they spray the golden sunshine from their front genitals too all over us. And we just lap it up because we're Entertainment Weekly. That's what it sounds like to me. At least, what do you guys think?
I'd be, and I think everybody would. I think even Oscar, even Daisy, I think everybody would be kind of like, if we're going to come back, then hopefully the story is worth us coming back, or maybe perhaps some new characters that we help and we facilitate, you know, so.
It looks like the media is just taking one thing that he says, running with this headline to paint Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams in a very, very positive light. Let's see what else the article says. The fact that Boyega referenced KK and JJ and the team in his response implies that he would be interested in returning the franchise if it were the people he felt most comfortable working with. No, when you actually... And here, this is why I got so suspicious on this. Because their article, or their video clip from their interview with him has nothing to do with any of it. This interview that they're using comes from Jake's Takes. He's a YouTube channel with 94,000 subscribers here. And he got 15,000 views on that last year, May 1st, 2020, when he got an interview with John Boyega. So it seems like they're just spinning this completely wrong, because he says, yes, if the stories were there, if we could make sure that the story was worth our time, and I could have a conversation with Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams, because I think he would probably want to confront them, don't you? Like, hey, why did you screw up my character? That's what I would think. But now they're trying to get everybody to turn on John Boyega, I think. You know, it came to these other people. Well, when it came to Kelly Marie Tran, when it came to John Boyega, you know, fuck all. You know, fuck all, Boyega said. So what do you want to say? Now, this is interesting he brings up Kelly Marie Tran, because I just saw another article from We Got This Covered today. We're gonna pull it up right now. We got this covered. Still running with the Kelly Marie Tran farce that we debunked right here on my own channel 2 hours ago. How she dealt with the Star Wars backlash. Well, they made up this fake narrative that she was bullied off of social media over 2 tweets No, not even tweets. 2 Instagram responses were all I could find. That's all the... Like, I've got more screenshots that could destroy the fan base of Fandom Menace channels, right? I have more screenshots and dirt on people in the community than all of Google has on Kelly Marie Tran's quote-unquote, deleting her social media. So they're running with this just so that you don't go in and actually read this. When it came to John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran, you know fuck all, he says. The media knows fuck all about it. So what do you want me to say? What do they want you to say is, I enjoyed being a part of it. It was a great experience. Nah. I'll take that deal when it's a great experience. They gave all the nuance to Adam Driver and the nuance to Daisy Ridley. Let's be honest. Daisy knows this. Adam knows this. Everybody knows this. I'm not exposing anything. So they run this article and they're still going with what he's quoted in saying, but then they twist the title and the headline. This is Kelly Marie Tran all over again. They twist the headline. Same thing as what they did with the New York Times article, where they give you a different headline, and then you scroll in and you see, it's like, I will not be marginalized. She talks about the people online, the trolls on social media. And all she's referring to is how Hollywood and the media and the magazines and everything said, hey, you're only going to be the girlfriend or the sidekick or doing people's nails. You're not the star of the movie. This is what the problem is when they run these headlines, because people aren't going to read this. There's always a wealth of potential stories to be found in Star Wars, whether it's through live action animation. Yeah, no one's really gone. So this is just them simping. This is just and The Last Jedi was a great movie. Why don't they have that? Representatives for Boyega did not immediately respond to Entertainment's request for comment. What do I think? What do I think is that Kathleen and JJ are ones who kept him off the screen. This video is a year old and predates his angrier comments of journalists don't do the bare minimum anymore. Kathleen Kennedy and Jar Jar Abrams are without a doubt the 2 worst things to ever happen to the Star Wars franchise. I'm confused. Why JJ? Well, because they're just twisting what he said to make it look like he's simping for KK and JJ. Oh, we debunked it. Do I come back? D. Gray says. Yeah, however do I come back? I think we debunked it. He's just saying, yeah, if we fixed a bunch of stuff, I think in 30 years, who knows, we probably will come back for the fans because they deserve it. But right now, we need to have a serious talk with Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams. And hopefully everybody watched this video all the way to the end. And we posed for the thumbnail. Mecha wins! I'm going back to my live chat. Don't you guys go anywhere. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!